Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR. What is just a placebo effect that most people don't realize? How long it takes a Coinstar to process and count coins and return a receipt. It finishes quickly, so quickly that folks are skeptical of the accuracy. So a fake delay, with fake counting noises, was built in giving folks more confidence in the results. That's amusing and I absolutely believe it. A lot of scans do this as well. Not virus scans. Those just take a damn long time. But sites that show you the best deals are often done in 100 milliseconds. They're not really doing anything that intensive. Just make a few requests to AutoTrader or whoever, which probably only returns 15 cars, and sort by lowest price. But people wouldn't believe it was the best price if it came back instantly. They wouldn't think it looked hard enough. So they make them wait a little. Definitely. I've used a background check website that goes through a big elaborate series of scanning records progress bar animations. They even divide it into segments like checking criminal records, checking property records, and so on. But here's the thing. They only do all this rigmarole if you search for someone's name on the main site before you have made an account. After you make an account, the exact same kind of searches are done instantly. Reticulating splines. Frick, it takes so long to do. Why can't I just opt out of that? Because they saw the unintentional side effect of making the user look awkward, standing there waiting for the machine to quit clickety-clacking, and decided it was too funny to not be mandatory. Coinstar is hilarious. If you doubt that, check out their restricted items list. Too lazy to look it up? You got a kink. Edit. I meant link. But I'll take either answer. Yeah, choking. Beats headphones have weights inside them to make them heavier and give the illusion of quality and sturdiness. So, if the headphones are too heavy, I should disassemble them and remove the weights. Arguably yes, if they would be more comfortable lighter, you could head over to our headphones. We can hook you up with a much lighter headphone with higher quality sound for much cheaper than Beats. I got all broke for having Bose headphones and not having Beats. A $300 plus pair of Bose headphones. Edit. This is the comment that blows up out of all my comments. Lol. Interesting how this works. To add, he was a friend who said it jokingly, but with a little bit of seriousness. He's one of those people that blows his whole paycheck on the latest trends. I don't want to come off as someone who brags. As some replies alluded to, I do make good money. But I'm not one of those people that tries to show off my money. I didn't even disclose how much my headphones cost. I just gave the ol' *CKU. I normally don't even tell how much something is. I only do it on here because nobody knows who I am. Anyone who calls you broke, no matter what headphones you have, is a C-word whose opinion isn't worth a piece of piss. A piece of piss, that does sound worthless. Do you have to freeze the piss first in order to get a piece of it? I'm not sure if it still does this, but at one time Google Docs intercepted the Ctrl+S shortcut and briefly changes the cursor to the thinking cursor, hourglass, beach ball, whatever your computer does. You don't need to save your Google Docs. They save every tiny change on the server, but people are used to doing it. That's like auto-saving games, though. Very often I'll manually save, too, just to be sure. In any sort of RPG I always keep 3 saves, in case anything corrupts or is broken. Fallout New Vegas taught me this the hard way. Oh, now all the NPCs are trying to murder me and I'm stuck between 2 rocks. If I don't see a saving animation, I'll assume the saving process didn't work. But that's what I'm saying. There's no saving process. The animation is the only thing that happens when you hit Ctrl+S. Listen, I have decades of paranoid gamer mentality that will not yield to your correctness. Did I just save that? Better save again just in case. 3 more times. Then you go into the game files and back up the save data. I install commercial audio, video systems on bigger, more involved jobs like stadiums and arenas. We have AV consultants who don't work for my company but are a big link in the chain. As far as designing and deking the finished system, I don't know how many times I've been up in a 80 feet boom lift and they want the azimuth or down angle. of a speaker adjusted by some ridiculously small amount. So you get back up there, bang a couple wrenches on the speaker, and don't actually move crap. How's that? Oh yeah, that sounds better. Works every goddamn time. When I was in my film major in college, our audio professor told us to have some spare cables on hand to wire up a dummy on the control board. Just a big obvious cord coming out of the controls and wired into nothing. Stuffed behind an Apple box or something. If it sounds perfectly fine to you, he said, just twist or slide something on the dummy channel ever so slightly and play it again. There's a famous story like that about the Beach Boys. The Wilson brothers' father was their manager and a complete control freak. During recording session, he always wanted to make changes. So they gave him a mixing board of his own. He never knew it wasn't actually connected to anything. Audiophiles, professional or not, are mostly full of crap anyway. Most can't tell the difference between a top-of-the-line audio cable and a coat hanger with a proper socket. Yeah, audio quality and fidelity matters up to a point. Then it's confirmation bias that fills in the rest, like wine tasting. There's actually a story like that when Michelangelo was carving the statue of David. Whoever he was making the statue for stopped by and said the nose was too big. But it only appeared that way because he was looking at it from directly beneath. So Michelangelo went up and pretended to carve it down and dropped some previously carved shavings. To save arguing. I can't tell you how many times I did this to my uppity professor in art school. Worked like a frickin' charm every time. Doesn't sound like a very good professor. No, he basically just had a tenure and connections. It's a human flaw. People want to contribute even if there is nothing to contribute, so they make crap up. It's not unheard of for SW designers to just have a dummy stupid design so people can vote, remove it and contribute. When my cat wants fresh food, but he still has some in his bowl, I pretend to put more in there. He usually falls for it. Does the bowl have high sides? Eating out of bowls instead of flat plates can sometimes cause issues with their whiskers touching the side and being overstimulated, since they're quite sensitive. Indeed it does. Try a flat plate. He might complain less. What you're interpreting as please food slave give me more food might actually be please food slave fix that thing where my whiskers feel weird when I try to eat this delicious chicken. Huh? That makes sense. My cat always pulls out the food from the bowl and instead eating it on the floor. Either way, you're a food slave. The original Febreze was unscented, but nobody believed it worked, so they added scent to it. You're telling me Febreze isn't just the smell? I thought that odor trapping was the BS part. Which makes me so mad. I despise every stinking fragrance on the market and just want things to not smell. If I want jeans to not smell like butt, I don't want to spray them with wet grass smell, or whatever. Give me an odorless product. There aren't enough of them. www.amazon.ca. You can get unscented Febreze. $14 shipping on a $6 bottle. Eat a bag of dicks. I'm watching the Lakers game and during the commercials a Febreze ad came on while I was reading this. I'm scared. Do you have TikTok installed? The exaggerated sounds of some vacuum cleaners, microwaves and cars to make them sound powerful. The loading screens on some apps that make it seem like they're doing something complex. Reticulating splines. Are you telling me the vacuum is made louder just to make it seem stronger? OMFG, who's the idiot that thought that'd be good? As a developer, a lot of the loading screens I've built are just the app doing nothing, waiting for the server to do something. As someone who is extremely sensitive to vacuum sounds, this infuriated me. There is no sound in a vacuum. I brought my SUV into a dealership. It felt like it was shifting strangely. Like the clutch kept slipping. A mechanic laughed. There's no gears anymore. She did a software update and it was fine. Welcome to the wonderful world of CVTs with fake shifts. It's literally less efficient than the engine staying in its power band. But it feels more normal to people, so manufacturers include it. If you have a low gear, you can sometimes use that to turn it off. But be wary of your engine over-revving at sustained speeds. I once spoke to a guy involved in developing the first ATM cash machines. Early trials showed that users thought that the dispensing of cash happened too fast and didn't trust that it had correctly debited their account for the right amount. So they inserted a wait cycle to make it appear that the machine was counting the cash. That wait cycle is still there today in most machines. Edit. Woke up to a billion replies telling me that the acronym ATM contains the words machine. I know this, but I included both ATM and cash machine for those parts of the world where we don't really use the term ATM. I've been told that some apps, websites use artificial wait times, load screens to indicate that they're doing something while actually they're not. Example given was a hotel comparison website. Towards the end of a booking it has a double checking for the best price loading bar. That did literally nothing, as the website had no way of getting different data than was already shown to the user. However, this loading bar greatly increased user confidence that they got the best price. Any website that's telling you it's crunching some numbers or double-checking something is almost certainly not doing crap. Those numbers were crunched in a nanosecond. And to your point, they pulled in the relevant information a long time ago, so there is nothing to double-check. It's all smoke and mirrors. This is the computerized version of the shoe store employee telling you they'll go look in their back. I still double-check after a deposit, so I guess people like me are at fault. I once received nothing while being deducted 10. Still mad. Was a student's last money on 25th of month. You can call the company and they can reverse the transaction once they've done their daily count to ensure you didn't actually get the money. At least a good company will do that. Lots of people call in and say they didn't get money when they did in fact get their money. Sometimes security cameras will even see them take their cash and they'll still claim they didn't get it. It's pretty commonplace. I once tried to deposited my paycheck at Wells Fargo ATM and it ended up taking the check of $480 and depositing 1 cent. I went inside the building and they told me they weren't responsible for their own ATM. Reason number 3,920,374 for why to not use Wells Fargo. As an IT person, giving a user a new monitor will make them swear their computer is faster. Edit. Wow, this blew up. This is by far my highest rated comment in existence. I haven't worked tech support for over a decade, so my comment comes from a time in the late 90s when users were using compact iPac mini towers and just couldn't get over the switch from CRT to LCD monitors. And holy cow, the switch from 4 to 3 to 16 to 9 was life-changing. Sadly, this observation has nothing to do with refresh rate, as that's a modern consideration we didn't have the luxury of back in the old days. Here's the other side of that coin, users who hate change. I recently rolled out new systems for a client. A few days later I asked one of the workers if she liked her new super-fast computer. She replied, "Actually, it's slower." She went from a second-gen i3, 2 GB RAM, and 1 TB 5400 RPM to a Ryzen 5, 16 GB RAM, 250 GB NVMe. Sure Karen, sure. I can tell users I made a change on the back end, and they say the issue has improved. As a network engineer, I can confirm that this works. Increase the mouse pointer speed. Kind of agree. If you installed a fresh OS, it could be different, be enough to feel slower. Newer operating systems also have more transitions between windows. Load times are faster, but some users can see the transition between windows as being slower, because it takes more time from when it starts. The airplane that mommy feeds you. I don't think it's really an airplane. Lies. Deception. Your blanket covering your legs, yourself from a serial killer at night. Well, it's worked so far, so joke's on you, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy. Not your guy, pal. I swear my car performs better immediately after it's cleaned. This one is true though. If Gran Turismo taught me anything, it's that washing your car can add 5 to 10 horsepower. Car doors should close really quietly, but they're designed to close loudly so you feel safe. Thanks for watching LWIAR. The best of recent r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out LWIAR too. And don't forget to like and subscribe.